Have to hit record. It's, her kid is 6. Yeah, that's good. All right, Aaron, you can let me know when you're ready. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Thursday, May 19th, 2022 meeting of the Town of Rochester Zoning Board of Appeals to order. We'll start with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nicole is absent today, so I'll be taking the role. So, Mr. Sarnes, I am here. Mr. Fisher, here. Ms. Vinton. Absent. Ken? Here. Clay? Here. Nicole is absent, and the record will also show that Mary Lou, the attorney for the board, is here, and Aaron Ewan is running the Zoom meeting also. So, the first order of business is the continuing application of Deborah and Donald Glenn. So if you can come, have a seat at the table. You can go through it. And, so from last time, when we reviewed the application, there were some questions about the dimensions that you needed for the garage and the setbacks from the sidelines, from the front yard and the house and all that. So have you had an opportunity to revise the drawings or?
Yes.
Okay. And did you submit those to?
Yeah.
All right. So let's just confirm that we're looking at the same revisions. So Clay, could you share your packet? Just so that we see that. So we have one that was received March 14th. I don't have a receipt data, but it definitely looks more complete where you note the alleyway and things like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's start with. Okay. So have you submitted the revisions to the code enforcement office as well, or just to
I sent it to the lady that notified me. Who's that?
Nicole? Just Nicole.
Yeah. Nicole.
Okay. All right. So these haven't gone to the code enforcement. That's really well. Okay. So so from this, the side yard setback stays the same, 19 feet and 19.5 feet. Is that correct? Okay. And it does show you moving the garage back to be in line with the front of the porch, right, which is an attached structure. So
yes.
So I would assume that Jerry would note that, and, some relief from that. The building still stays just under 6 feet away from the garage. Stays just under 6 feet away from the front porch as well.
Yeah.
And that's one where the code is looking for it to be a minimum of 12 feet or half the height of the average of the two buildings, which is certainly going to be close to 12 feet anyway. And that's for fire code. So, and in addition to being for fire code, it's also a fairly large percentage variance to get. It's, 12 feet down to 5 feet is a significant percentage. So.
That was a grandfather's town, right? That was built.
But you're taking it down and building it.
Oh.
Right. Is that still your plan?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of clears it for me. Charlie, I don't know if you have any questions, or Clay or Ken.
The one thing I was thinking is put like a breezeway attaching the garage to the house.
And he doesn't need a variance for that 4 foot?
Yeah, so my understanding from Jerry is that if it is attached, if the garage is attached to the porch of breezeway, that violation that would go away, that you no longer need a variance. He'd have to make the final decision on it, but that's as I understand it. So that would be very helpful.
I can put a breezeway in
That would be great.
it, and keep her out of the snow and rain, how they. You keep coming back.
I was just gonna say the
Coming back
exact
here.
same thing, Charlotte. That's
So, okay. That would be wonderful, because that would certainly alleviate the safety concern and the fire concern. So what I think we could do, because you're still going to require that 1 foot and that 6 inches on the one side, right? Because you want to keep the width there.
I can move it over also one foot, closer to the porch, I can put the breezeway.
If he's putting the breezeway up.
Well, if you do both of those and submit that plan to Jerry, then you probably don't have to come back.
Yeah, I would recommend that if that's what you want to do, which is a fantastic idea, eliminates any problems, I believe. I think we should set it for a public hearing, just in case you change
Agreed.
your mind, and you can always cancel it
Exactly.
if you change the plan and get an okay from the building department.
That's exactly what we did with, if you remember, there was a gentleman here for a garage right after you were, yeah. And we spoke with Jerry, and, the revised plans and the revised interpretation, we canceled his public hearing. So it was the same thing. So,
So if I bring the Jerry that I want to move over foot to the breezeway, and he approves it, I'll have to come back.
yeah, that would be great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you might miss us. You might want to
I'll
watch
be
us
back.
on YouTube
Yeah,
or
I'll bring
something.
Lawrence and Coffee and have your time.
Jerry's standpoint on the work,
Yeah.
make sure you know.
It says bay.
You have 2 doors in the front.
Yep.
Didn't you have a 3rd door located?
Yeah, right over here. On the corner. Oh, yours,
That's the main door, right?
that's the old drawing right there.
Okay, that's the old drawing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's,
It's on the back of the package.
Do we know the thing?
Yeah.
It's on the revised. Yeah.
And again, similarly, so when you're gonna do a new drawing, then it will indicate the 20 feet or more, if you're gonna move it over a foot,
I move towards the porch of foot.
right? Right, so just,
So then I'll
yeah,
update
so
that.
right, so it's clear to the code enforcement officer that you comply,
Okay,
okay?
also change that, yes.
And indicate some kind of,
You're gonna have to draw. the plan.
you want a pen to write some of this down so that you remember, or you're gonna commit it to memory? And
No, at this stage, I don't want.
You can also go back and watch the YouTube.
Oh,
video.
this is true too, yeah.
Yeah.
You can watch
You don't
YouTube.
remember something.
If you want a pen that writes.
Thank you.
There you go. All right, so I think based on that, is there a motion to hold a public hearing conditionally?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. I'll second. Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries, so we'll have Nicole schedule a public hearing for the next meeting, conditional upon submission of plans to Jerry, and if there's a need to have the public hearing.
you understand where we're going? You understand that? Okay, good.
Just bring my revised plan to Jerry. If it's
Jerry.
approved,
Then you don't have to come back next week.
right.
If there's any issues, if there's any issue, then we have to.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, that's good. Thank you, Mr. Ruff. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Appreciate your time. Yeah. Have a good day. Have a good night.
Take care.
So,
No.
Let's do this.
yeah, well, we have a recording.
Okay.
All right, so the next item is the public hearing for Jacob Hennessy Rubin at Melissa LaChance Malone. I'm recused from that hearing. Is there anyone here from the public? Is there anyone online?
Not yet.
So someone comes in, we just have them.
That way, I should remember to look for help. Bail me out.
I'll just scooch on over, please.
Doing great.
All right, well, what we have is continuation of the application by Mr. Jacob Hennessy and Miss Melissa LaChance regarding the conveyance of property. As was stated, Mr. Saris is recusing himself, and we're here to hear the rest of this public hearing part of it. What we have is document number 21598, Jacob Hennessy, Reuben, Melissa LaChance Malone. It's 32 Baker Road, Ulster County tax map, section lot number 67-1-14.100, parcels in the AR3 zoning district, and approximately 1.22 acres. The applicant's looking for a conveyance of 0.56 acres from the neighboring parcel, and unfortunately, this doesn't meet the acreage requirements for the AR3 district. Since the last portion of the hearing, do you have anything you want to add? Any other paperwork?
Yeah, I just wanted to include some additional photos that are photographed, so I've got a sec for each of you. So there's 3 photos in here. They were supposed to be oriented the other direction, but you can see it. This is a document from our photos from our house. Those 2 pine trees that you see there are essentially the current lot line. So it's the property beyond that. Okay. That's the conveyance show that how the property is an extension of our yard. And that's the purpose. We also have a full size of the sketch plan, like reference that, which is also attached there. And after that set of paperwork, where you'll see the green is the current property that we own, the 32 acre address, and the yellow is the proposed 0.5 acres that we're looking to purchase from the neighbor's property.
We also received the letter of, find it here, bear with me. Letter of agent from Michelle Bella Malone. She's the current owner of the 24 Baker Road property that you're looking to convey from.
There should have also been a letter of intent that was in different colors.
Yeah, there is.
There is, there's a letter of intent.
Come back in
Yeah. from the last-
November, I think, right?
when they
November
first
30th,
initiated the project.
yeah, 2021. That states that she recently sold 32 Baker Road in Thompson to you and Miss LaChance. And they discussed selling the property that contains the slab, concrete slab on it. That's the 0.56 acres, right?
Portion in yellow on it.
That portion was originally with this house prior and prior.
So the
Oh,
portion
yes.
that contained that concrete slab was originally with that house, and when they sold off the property, they retained that, or?
They reallocated it at some point between the family deeds, or whatever was the process, and then, sold it off.
No.
So we're basically looking to go back to the original.
Okay, with the slab, is there also a devoted well for that property or septic system for that property?
There is a well for that slab, there was a one on that. It's not active as far as I know, the power lines was just noted on the map as well, but also not active. I'm not clear if there's a septic.
There was a trailer.
But their intention is not to create a second one.
Right, okay. Do you have any other intent beyond just preserving the property?
Our intent is to preserve the property. We consider using it that slab or that or a garage, non-residential, but our focus is primarily in
Does that slab with the setbacks that you need?
That's a conversation I've had with Jerry and he's unsure about it.
Okay, it'd be a different application then.
Correct, because it's along the line of a creek and it's about
Well, I
78
will.
feet, not 100 feet from the waterway.
It's also, I did the research on it, it's also in a high environmental area for the county.
Correct, it would
Be
be-
aware of that.
and it's the other property across the street for background.
So hopefully that's plus 3 acres.
It's another additional acre, so we're trying to get to that area.
You're getting there slowly but surely.
Brian,
There you go.
Can I ask you a quick question? On the, is that all right? On the map, it says the revised line
Yeah, we-
15, no, that's okay, I can read. Is plus or minus 2.9. That's the existing
So,
mother lot, if you will.
this property here, this portion, this is all 24 acre, that's the loan. That's what they currently own, and that's give or take, that 2 I've seen 2.7. Most documents 2.9. And then this is our property, and this is the additional portion of the.
So,
So this is both are non-compliant.
both currently are non-compliant, and the question was whether they needed to do a swap. If they, I mean, their preference would be, which is why there's two shaded areas. So their preference would be to just be able to get an area variance so that between the two undersized lots, it doesn't, one lot will become a little bit more conforming, one will become a little less.
Right, I know one goes from like 2.7, I think I did the math right, it goes down to 2.14, yours will increase to 1.78.
Right. And
So-
if the board wasn't in support of that, the other alternative was that they swap two pieces that are somewhat even in order to maintain where they are.
Okay, so you would take a different 5.6 parcel from that existing 2.7?
Right, that would be that front corner,
And then just
Put it back
switch.
into that.
Okay, yeah.
but the preference would be to
Like
not do
convolute
that.
A little more than.
Right. Right, so the preference would be not to do that. But it's not changing the existing density, residential density in the sense that it's just averaging the shifting a piece between two non-conforming lots.
Does- sorry, go ahead.
but the question I have is, if it were two, I don't know, do we know how exact the survey is?
Yep.
So if that's, so the survey indicates, this one is 2.7. It says plus or minus 2.9. I don't mean to, I mean, the question I have is, you have one lot that's very close to compliance. And what you're suggesting is a movement that, while on the one hand, you have two non-compliant lots, what you're proposing would essentially make one property less compliant than it is now. And I guess I'm just sharing with you, my concern is that if it were, let's just say, if it were 1.75 and 1.25, moving, 0.25 over, then net, no big. But if there were a way of doing a swap, that they ended up in compliance and you ended up with, a slightly less size parcel. I don't have the whole concept here of the land, how that could be done, but it would be, I'm just saying, it would seem to me to be a possibility. And have you considered that?
It's been discussed within the family, but our goal is to not shrink the property. Our goal is to add that into the addition as we grow.
What would the gift sort of?
But you're suggesting that I would convey additional so that the neighbors would hit that 3.0 or beyond.
Which would necessarily
Would shrink
shrink his
your property.
more non-conforming lot.
Understand, but then we'd end up with one conforming lot, and one non.
Right, but the purpose is to make their
They
lot
would
bigger.
they would
So
have
they
to
don't want to give
convey.
away any more land.
Well, no, I think the purpose is very specifically to acquire this particular piece of property because it has, it has some significance. And without you understanding, there's a platform there, there's electricity, you know, it could have, you know, good utility. It could have utility.
It's our yard. more than just a functional space.
And it's in your yard.
Yeah.
And so the objective is less to develop it and more to just, it's divided from the other parcel by the stream. And it doesn't, so they don't necessarily
So
access it.
in order to possibly bring that up to the 3 acre requirement for the piece to be sold to you, they would have to convey, I think, 0.66 acres to bring that up. They would
After
have,
taking this.
right, after taking that, they would have to take 0.56 and then convey off of the green portion, 0.66 acres to make that a whole 3 parcel or 3 acre parcel.
And the area is only 20.
Yeah, I don't, then they wouldn't, I don't know if they have room. to do that, unless there was a third parcel involved.
No. Looking at, I mean, is it indivisible, the area in the yellow, additional area of purchase? It couldn't be done with 1 or 2/10 of an acre less?
Well,
But
it's
that
still
doesn't-
gonna be.
But they're still gonna
non-conforming,
be non-conforming.
because the property to begin with, before the removal of the yellow section there, is still non-conforming. So anything you take away from the property is just gonna lessen that conformity.
The yellow
It's gonna make it so that there's less property than 3 acres.
yellow is a part of the current 2.9.
That's it, okay, thank you for clarifying that. When it indicated revised, I thought that was. the proposed-
Afterward,
thought
I
that
see
was
what,
the
I
proposed
see.
one.
The yellow is currently by
Yeah.
2.9, so we reduce them by that 0.5.
Yeah. If they're looking for the yellow piece at the end of the green. If they added that, wouldn't that slab be, need another variance because it would only be 15 feet from the property line
That's why I
then?
said that'd be a different
Or,
application at that
or
point.
take the slab out?
Or remove the slab, that's correct. We'd have to remove any pre-existing slab.
15 feet is the very, right?
Variance is 30 from the side.
It's a non-conforming.
I was gonna say, if it's this
It's non-conforming.
now,
Then 30, that's a 50% variance.
That's correct. I mean, but
Said
once
so.
again, I think if their intent right now is not for development, I don't know if that should be considered in the conveyance,
right, it's.
because it's a
and it's not
different, yeah.
structure.
Well,
The official,
yeah,
the official lot line has yet to be confirmed with the process with planning board, is that right? Lot line.
Yep.
So if that's a requirement that needs to be or whatever,
Then that area gets squared out.
then we can do that.
There,
what you do is,
the other property, sorry, not interrupt, the other property wants to retain the stream,
I got you.
which is part of why it's not.
That was gonna be
also
one question I had for you. The property owners that are there now, with the conveyance of this property, does it still leave them room to your side of the stream to get through there? It still leaves property on your side of the stream.
They're interested in continuing that property. And dimensionally, what that setback is to the stream is from the lot line.
Right, so you could request that it be expanded, but slightly so that it brings that concrete slab instead of being
So close.
10 feet from the
It would be
boundary.
set and then the back line would come forward. Anything else for that?
So that, you know, he did reach out to all of the neighbors, that they had any questions or concerns.
Gonna make note of that. There was a letter sent out over surrounding landowners with 500. So they did have a notice. So
And also, yeah.
And you did too, nice.
Reached out to see if anybody had any.
great. Yes, and then move on to the public comment. Doesn't seem like there's many. Any,
Nobody online.
nobody online? Wow, okay.
I thought they were pretty good.
That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, well, having said that, there's no public hearing, needed. Public comment, I should say. Anybody else have a question? What I am gonna do at this time is I'm gonna ask the board for a motion to continue the public hearing until we have time to do more research regarding the movement of that property line if necessary. Due diligence plays a big part of this.
Would you like the applicant to speak with the building department to see?
That's never gonna hurt anything. Knowledge is power for you. So. Definitely do that.
I'm seconding the motion.
Excellent.
I just want you folks to know, I don't think this will really matter. But the handle on it, we can talk before you. I will not be at that meeting. I will be at that, okay? But before you and I
Yeah, we
can chat about whatever we are.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate it.
From our side, do you want any information?
If you find out anything new with regards to the setback for that pad, then yeah, please give it to Nicole. So we include the pad to help us a little bit further.
So are you thinking along the lines of whether or not you can provide the variance so that the existing structure is non-compliant as opposed to?
What I'm thinking is for your potential future application in regards to anything outside of an agricultural aspect. In other words, developing the property beyond anything agricultural because it still lies within that AR3 zone. And I don't want to see you guys absorb a piece of property that you can really not do anything with, and now you're stuck with it.
But I think
That's
that
good.
their
That's our
intention.
intent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if you're okay with the fact that you can't necessarily develop it,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to put your garage there,
Fine.
then you're still okay with that property.
Our primary focus is to have that as a part of our property. Garage is only happy luck if it can happen.
Gotcha, gotcha. Nice spot for a garden.
Yeah.
Especially
Especially
with
with the garden,
maybe
that's in there.
access to that river, that street. Thank you for your time. Appreciate everything.
Thank you.
You want to keep the full size?
Yeah, hold on to the full size.
Do you need just more than one or just one?
If we have one on file already, you probably will,
If you don't have everything on file.
then we're fine.
Thank you.
All right. We'll bring Bruce back in here. Let him do his thing now.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thanks. Betcha. Kept you solid for you. All right.
Next item on the agenda is the review and approval of the minutes from last meeting.
Second.
Voice vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes are approved. Any other matters of business anyone would like to discuss? Anybody? We're all good.
Nice job.
Motion to adjourn.
Nice second. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Motion carries. Have a good week. Thank you. Mary Lou, thank you.